Hi everyone, we're Team Patio. I'm Arya Gadimi, the specialist on the team. I'm an intellectual property lawyer and a registered patent agent. And I work with Juan Fuentes, who's doing his master's in computer engineering, and Simran Singh, who is doing his master's in applied computing. Now, in addition to working with me on this project, these guys are innovators and entrepreneurs, and they have come up with a neat new product that they're going to tell us about now.
Okay, so we've come up with this new bike light that we're looking to commercialize, and we've come to an area for some advice on how to do so.
Yeah, so guys, looks like you have a really neat product. You have a prototype already ready to go, and you want to make it public and take it to the market.
Right.
Are you guys at all concerned that once you make this public, others might copy your idea?
Yeah, that's exactly why we are here.
Perfect. So that happens to be that there is a tool to help protect against this situation, and that is preparing and filing a patent application. It generally looks like this in the simplest form. It's going to have some drawings that are tagged with component numbers and a description that describes what's in those drawings. Now, do you know how to go about preparing such an application?
No, we don't. I think we might have to contact some lawyer, but that's going to cost a lot.
In some cases it can, but fortunately for you, there's this new app called Patio, and it's intended to make preparing and filing the first patent application faster, cheaper, and less complex. And it's great because it allows you to file faster and more simply. Also, there's some features built in that help you avoid some fundamental mistakes that people can make when they prepare their own patent applications.
That's cool.
Sounds good.
So let's go through the app, and you guys start playing with it, and I'll talk you through it.
Okay. It looks like I have to create a new application. I'll name it as December. And looks like I have to upload a photo. I already have a photo of this component in my phone.
So you can upload it from the library.
Okay, I can. It looks like I have to tag the components on this image. I'll just tag the first component as body, and the second component as face. I'm done. I think I'll save this image. Looks like I'm done with it.
But your invention has a second component, which is a rubber strap. What about that one?
Oh, but I don't have photo of this.
You can use the camera on the phone to take a photo.
Okay, let's do that. Looks like I have to describe this as well.
We can tag it.
But okay, yeah, this is colored. I don't want colored one.
There's actually a built-in feature that allows you to convert your color image into a black and white.
Okay, let me try that. Can I tag the component while it's doing?
Yeah, the conversion can run in the background.
Okay, let me tag it as shaped. Oh, it looks like I made a mistake. I wanted to name it shape.
Yeah, if you go to the bulleted list icon at the top,
Yeah.
you will see a list of the tags, and you can change and delete them.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, looks like it's done. I'll save this image, and yeah, that's pretty much everything we need for images.
Yeah, so you have your images now ready and tagged, and now you want to add your description.
Okay, so I see that I can start describing the images that were tagged. So I'll start describing. Get presented with the images that were tagged. So I'll select the first image that was tagged. And before I start adding the description, I see that I have a few options at the top. So the first one is a list, and I can reference the components that were tagged for this image. So that's good. Yes, I can press on the image, enlarge the image, and reference it again if I need it for the description. And if I want to start inputting the description, it seems that I have a microphone option that I can
You can dictate.
Okay, so that will save me some time. I'll do that. This bike light must have a face and shape. Okay, so that's pretty cool. As you can see, it was automatically pre-filled 102, so the component number was associated with the component name, face 102, which was tagged in this image. So now I'll move on to the next option. There's a third option. One of the words went right. Could you explain?
Yeah, so what that is that it checks for what's called patent profanity. These are types of language that if you use them, it can be prejudicial later on. So it highlights it for you. When you tap on it, it gives you a suggestion. In this case, it's suggesting consider using can instead of must.
Okay, that's good. And now the last option, there's a check mark. So this is telling me that the description is missing the figure number. So these components must appear in these type of application, so I'll add it back and make sure that I'm good. Oh, but it seems that I'm also missing a component number. So the text description missing for component number 100. So I made a mistake. I set shape. It was supposed to be body, and it automatically pre-filled the component number. So that's good. Now that I'm done, how do I proceed to file?
So perfect. So you guys are now done with your images and your description. Now, have you guys ever wondered whether there's some product out there already that might be too similar to yours?
Yeah, but we don't know how to do.
So there's a built-in feature which is called a prior art search, which is a search of what's already out there. So if you select it, it asks you for some keywords. So what are some keywords that describe your invention?
I think I'll use bike light and rubber strap.
Okay. So white bike light and strap, and if
Yeah.
you say okay, it uses Google's patent search functionality to do a search based on those keywords, and it gives you a list of results then that you can review to see if there's anything that is too close for comfort to your invention.
Okay.
Now, once you've satisfied yourself with that, then you can go and finalize your patent application. There's a screen where you can add your information as the inventor, and once you've entered that, then you can create the PDF, which is the patent application that you will actually file. So we can create that, you can give it a name, and so you can see that a PDF is created. It has the tagged images and a description.
This looks
And-
like this image.
Yeah, exactly. And now that you have your application, the next step is you want to file it. So you go to the next option, which is file the patent, and it takes you to the U.S. Patent Office's web portal for filing.
But this portal looks very complex to me. I don't know how to use this.
It's a fairly complicated portal and has various different pages. So to help you with that, we've actually built in a patent filing guide, which has screen captures of each of those web pages, and it shows you which fields to fill and which options to select.
That's cool.
Yeah. And lastly, if you have any questions through this process, the app can suggest a patent agent that you can contact.
Oh yeah.
And that's you. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Ariel.
so that's a demo of the app, and now you can move on to the structure of the software that powers Patio.
Okay, so the software, the structure of Patio essentially looks like this with this block diagram. It has a user, which has the first block, a user and create load, which allows the user to create the application and load it from the memory. So if it's creating the application, it will write it into the external memory of the device. Otherwise, it loads it. It reads from the external memory and loads it. Then moves to the image module, which does all the uploading of the image, takes a picture, it converts it to line drawing, tags it, and lastly, it will write it to the external memory. So it will write each image that was tagged, and it will associate a list of components for each image, write it to the external memory. Then it moves to the description module, which allows the user to input the description and does all the checking of the component missing and the figure number missing and the profanity check, and then updates this results to the backend server that we have. And finally, the final document, which creates the PDF.
Perfect. I know that we're out of time, but I'm happy to take any questions on the learnings or on our future directions.
Keep going.
Oh, so in terms of the learnings,
Quickly.
we basically, I learned as a specialist that I need very detailed communications and really nice detailed mock-ups in order to allow my partners, the programmers, to be able to implement functionality in a field of expertise that might be unfamiliar to them. Also, we learned that when we have multiple programmers building different modules, we need to allow quite a bit of time for integration and debugging. And very briefly, in terms of future directions, we want to do some user testing to refine and improve our interface and usability. We want to integrate the app, Patio, with the U.S. Patent Office web portal, so you can do filing directly out of the app. We want to refine our prior art search to give meaningful and contextual novelty scores. And finally, we want to adapt the app to work on a tablet, and we think that a bigger screen would be more helpful with working with pictures and description.
That's it.
Great, really nicely done. It's got lots of functionality. It's you presented it well. You chose an interesting narrative that I think worked. It was good to see. I liked it a lot. About the only comment I have, and I think it's always been a problem in this course, when you're getting to the structure of the software, you shouldn't just repeat what happened in the demo and say this happens here and here and there. Somehow you have to zoom out a little bit and say, this set of functionality happens here.
Okay.
I don't know.
Right.
What you did wasn't the right way to do it. For those of you who are going to try again, somehow one level up is more important, although there wasn't probably enough boxes there. There's functionality that was too hidden in your boxes, so I would work on that. Otherwise, I think it's really interesting. I've never seen an app try to do anything like this in the 7 years of the course. Any comments, questions, suggestions? Yeah.
Is there no like Canadian patent office? You just all set up to work with the US? I mean, obviously this was probably more
Yes,
important. But
that is a great question. Almost every jurisdiction has its own national patent office or regional. There are complicated reasons why this is the US, and I'm happy to explain offline.
That's where all your paid work is, right?
Uh,
Or most of it?
Well, the US is a very active patent jurisdiction, but the reasons are more technical and beyond just where patents are more popular.
Just a suggestion that is it possible to add a FAQ? Like since it contains some some people might have some legal matters questions, and is it possible to do that, or is that patent filing website you get for you, where there's a full guide and all those things?
You repeat the question.
Sorry, I'm not sure I caught the suggestion.
So the frequently a section for
Oh, I frequently asked questions to answer like legal questions. Is that the suggestion?
yeah, in your app, or is that patent filing website guide which takes care of it for you?
Yeah. So the point is that without getting too far afield out of the scope of this course, is that whenever you start giving anything that could be construed as legal advice, you have to be very careful because it's a regulated profession. So we're providing an app, providing a tool for something that people can do themselves. And your point is well taken, that some guide is helpful along the way. There's also the option of contacting an agent if you need help along the way. But yeah, so your point is well taken, though it is a line that we would have to traverse carefully and not straight into giving legal advice.
One suggestion that just occurred to me is there's contact the patent agent, but you might want to even just make it better than that. You kind of Skype call.
Yeah.
Like you have a set,
Right.
maybe a selection of them. We've been talking about this in the medical front, going, I want a physiotherapist, a psychotherapist, whatever.
Yeah.
It seems like we should be able to just call them up if that.
Right.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, and I have, I don't know if we've discussed it together, but contemplated that, at some point there might be signups where interesting professionals who want to work with users through the app can provide online, electronic calendar availability and contact info, and then the app can pick, who's available, who wants to take the call, as
That's
a,
very compelling.
Yeah.
Good thing, yeah.
I'm just wondering, so patent building can be a long process. Can you sit in the middle and then continue to work on the same patent building later on?
Yeah.
yeah, actually, so there's a functionality here which we didn't show in the app, but
Yeah,
go
so
all the way to the beginning.
if we go back to the beginning, what did
You can load an
it was
existing
named
application.
December. So essentially you can go back and keep working on the same application and modify the same image.
Add images, you
Yeah.
can continue working on your description.
How would you intend to provide a novelty score for prior artists?
Yeah, so this is a very good question, and essentially it needs, there will have to be an interpretive step. So for example, if you've done online searching through various databases, many of them will give you a relevance score. So a most rudimentary type of relevance score would be, you look at how frequently the keywords are occurring in the search results that you pulled, right? And those types of contextual relevance scores can be used to translate the number of search results you get from a keyword search into how many results have I pulled up that I think are very relevant. And if you have many of them, you will give an interpretive score to the user, say, look, there are lots of things in this field that might be relevant, go read them, and the novelty score would be lower in a cautionary way to communicate to them that they should look into this more. If you do a keyword search and nothing comes up, or very few things come up, or those keywords apply very rarely in those documents, you might have some kind of, obviously it's not definitive, but you have some kind of an interpretive guide that says, we didn't find a lot of things, so you can use that as a guide.
There's a crucial step there that's sort of human, right?
It is.
You always get hits from a search. Then you said somebody has to say whether those were very relevant or not.
That's right.
That's not
And that-
definitive. Yeah.
You were hoping to automate that? or
So
not?
I think that's probably quite hard to do because that goes to the heart of meaning. And that's sort of core to what we do in our profession is to say what is an invention and what is disclosed in a document and how do they overlap.
Yeah, we initially, we had the idea of giving a score, but how meaningful that score is,
Yeah.
like you said, you need to do a lot more things than just
we want to
finding a
use-
number of hits. So that's why we kind of left it out.
Yes.
Sure, it seems tough. I
Yeah.
guess the question
Yeah.
in this modern age of machine learning is,
Yeah.
is there a data set that you could train
We
relevance?
wanted to
This is
use-
not novelty in this case, it's just relevance. So could you train
Right.
relevance of the, I guess that's what the search engines have been trying to do forever, right?
That's right. And, you know, the data sets are, for example, the U.S. Patent Office has an initiative that they provide bulk patent data for their, you know, the documents are public. So that would be a data set you can start on, but you still need a human being to give you the final answer. So to sort of to train that machine, once you pull up the results, somebody has to look at it and say yes or no.
But,
There-
but isn't a search engine, inside the search engine for sure, each hit does have a relevance
Right.
that they don't expose it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a relative score, but in multiple documents, the issue was how do we combine into a single score that.
Yeah. Well, if you had a bunch of relevant scores.
Yeah,
then
exactly.
That you could combine, but
Yeah. Actually, we can go one step further. So to train a machine learning engine, what you need is a big data set to train it on, and you want to be able to give it feedback to say, you determine this way, yes or no. So the big data sets are available, and there's actually some ways maybe of doing it because when a patent gets filed, whatever receiving office receives it will assign a patent classification to it. Now it's crude, but at least at that level, you can use the human-generated classifications of the patent office against what your machine learning engine is doing, at least train them up to that point. To say, is my engine able to use keywords to decide what class this document belongs in correctly or not? It's still not total overlap, but it's at least do they fall in the same class or not. And the classes are very detailed. There's many, many, many thousands, tens of thousands of subclasses, so it's not a bad first step.
It almost seems with the amount of patents that are going into the patent office that like they should be contracting people to do this for them so that they can help automate the patent.
It's
process.
surprising that it's not already a machine. As far as I know, there's still a person that reviews every application that goes in and assigns one out of many tens of thousands of classes to it. I wouldn't be surprised if they use some machines to help them, but I'm not aware that it's totally automated.
Should make that tool sell to the government.
Yeah.
Great, we better move on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.